Data visualization is critically important to your reports, but it's often overlooked. When we're styling charts in Looker Studio, the biggest thing we're trying to do is reduce as much noise as possible from the charts. So you'll see in these examples, we try to have a really clean background and really remove a lot of the different variables and features that are normally in the chart. The chart title and description are really important to give the extra context about the chart and the data we're looking at. But in this example, I'm going to show what it would normally look like when you just paste in a chart in Looker Studio. So if we put the same chart in, we're going to look at revenue by month. So we have revenue by month. We're just going to flip the date range over, and let's look at the last 12 or 13 months of data. Let's do 13 months. So here's how the chart's going to be styled by default. So you'll see we have the legend here. We have grid lines. Sometimes there's even data labels below and to the left. So like if you see the data label that says month underneath, you really don't need that. It's clear that the months are there. So really reducing things that don't need to be there. Same thing here with revenue in the legend. Unless there was multiple metrics here and we needed to distinguish between the metrics, there's really no reason to have this revenue legend, especially when we're using the title to talk about what we're looking at. So if you go to the Style tab, really the things I would do here, if we go down the list is, and we could add data labels too, we'll look at that in a second. But the first thing I want to do is get rid of these grid lines. So we're going to go to the grid area and turn this to transparent. And now that grid line is gone and we have more white space in the chart, then what we're going to do is remove the legend. So here now we're starting to see this come together. Sometimes what you'll see as well are these access titles. So again, month of year, there's really no reason for that to be there. It's clear that this is the month. And same thing on this axis here, if we add the y-axis title, revenue doesn't need to be there either because we're talking about that this is a chart about revenue at the top. So those we're gonna clear out. And then this is where you can experiment a little bit and kind of lay this out the way you want to. You could put data labels, but in this case, we'll see data labels make this really messy. You can't even read them, they're overlapping. So some things you could do are compact numbers and even reducing the decimal place to 0. So now we can actually have those data labels in there and we can actually read them. They're not overlapping with the other months. So again, data labels, you may or may not want them in the chart. When you do bar charts, sometimes the data labels are a little bit more clear. So if we do the same thing, let's put decimal. Yeah, and in this case, what you'll see is this one's getting cut off. So sometimes what we can do is change the access here. So what we could do is something like this, where now we've increased it and we can actually see the top bar here. Again, the downside of doing this access max is you have to adjust that every month. When it's set to auto, as your data changes, this will adjust. So this would be more of if you notice that in your report, something to clean up on a monthly basis. So it's a little bit more clear what's happening.